What's the difference between adverb and adjective clauses, and why should you care? Well, the world is not going to end if you don't know the difference, but communication can become easier if you learn how to put ideas together clearly in English. Hi, I'm Jennifer. Let's talk about the kind of grammar that can help you in both speaking and in writing. This video will help you understand the difference between adverb and adjective clauses, which we use all the time. We speak with words, and we group words together different ways. Check out my video on words, phrases, and clauses. Basically, a clause has a subject and a verb. We have dependent and independent clauses. This is important. Independent clauses can stand alone as a complete sentence. For example, I enjoy public speaking. Live talks can be virtual or in person. Do you see the subject and verb in each sentence? I enjoy. Live talks can be. These are complete sentences. These are independent clauses. A dependent clause must join with an independent clause to form a complete sentence. Together, they form a complex sentence. I enjoy public speaking because it's a way to have a positive impact. Which is the independent clause, the main clause? I enjoy public speaking. Because it's a way to have a positive impact is a dependent clause. It could be a short answer to a question, but it's not a complete sentence on its own. It's a dependent clause. It's dependent on the main clause. Dependent clauses written all by themselves are called fragments. In informal writing, they're fine, but in academic and professional writing, fragments are generally avoided. Fragments are considered mistakes on standard language exams. Quick quiz, can you identify the fragments? Building a healthy mindset. I speak on mindset. A healthy mindset for school and for life. Although it's the shortest, B is the only complete sentence because it has a subject and a verb. A is a gerund phrase. C is a noun phrase followed by a prepositional phrase. So are fragments always wrong? No. When are they okay? In informal writing, like in texting, and in conversation, as a response to a question. For example, are you still meeting with us? Yes. When? After I get something to eat. The full idea is understood from context. I'll meet you after I get something to eat. If there's not enough context, you should use a full sentence. This is why you should know the difference between dependent and independent clauses. Adverb and adjective clauses are two examples of dependent clauses. Do you remember the difference between adverbs and adjectives? Quick quiz. What do adverbs and adjectives do? Adverbs answer questions like how, where, when, why, and to what degree. Adjectives answer questions like which one, what kind, and whose. Adverb and adjective clauses are simply larger structures that answer the same questions. Adverb clauses can give us information about manner, place, time, reason, and more. Adjective clauses can help us identify or describe a person or thing. Adverb clauses can go before or after the main clause. I enjoy public speaking because it's a way to have a positive impact. Because talks can be virtual or in person, I need to be comfortable doing both. When the dependent clause comes first, it's followed by a comma. Adjective clauses always follow the noun or pronoun they're modifying, that is, the person or thing they're identifying or describing. For example, what's a keynote? A keynote is a featured talk that either sets the tone for an event or delivers a central message. Do you see the adjective clause? Adjective clauses start with relative pronouns, that, which, who, whom, whose. Again, they follow the head noun, the noun they're modifying, which means the person or thing they're identifying or describing. How do you know which relative pronoun to use? Basically, which is for things. That can be for things or people, and then who, whom, and whose are only for people. There's a whole lesson on relative pronouns, and you can check it out in my playlist on adjective clauses. Try another quick quiz. Can you identify all the adjective clauses? I'll show you 5 complex sentences. A keynote speaker is usually someone who has expertise in a field. Athletes who no longer play professionally often become motivational speakers. A person whose life stories inspire others can become a successful speaker. A story that illustrates a life lesson is perfect for a keynote. Ideally, we all want a job which we both love and have a talent for. We also have relative adverbs, which are often included in the list of relative pronouns because they also help us identify certain things. Relative adverbs are where, when, and why. They're used in place of a preposition and a relative pronoun, like in which, at which, for which. Try this quiz. Can you rephrase the adjective clauses using where, when, and why? Tell me the main reason for which you do this kind of work. Tell me the main reason why you do this kind of work. That's the site at which he delivered his famous speech. That's the site where he delivered his famous speech. I'll always remember the day on which I got my first speaking gig. I'll always remember the day when I got my first speaking gig. It should be easy to remember that where is for places, when is for time, and why is for reasons. Some of you may wonder when we need to use a comma before an adjective clause. You can watch my full playlist on adjective clauses to find out and to practice. Right now, at least you know that adjective clauses start with a relative pronoun or relative adverb, and they follow the noun they're identifying or describing. If you've already learned something useful, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thank you. Let's talk about adverb clauses. There are different kinds, and there's a long list of adverbs that help us form these clauses. We can review the most common ones. They have a fancy grammar term, subordinating conjunctions. Conjunctions are connectors. They join ideas together. Subordinating conjunctions are used in subordinate clauses, dependent clauses. Don't worry too much about the terminology. Just remember that these adverb clauses need to join with a main clause to form a complete sentence, a complete idea. And these adverb clauses are giving us information, for example, about manner, place, time, and reason. Try this last quiz. Choose the correct words, the correct conjunctions to form adverb clauses. I'll show you 3 sentences. Since I'd like to get booked, I'm spreading the word that I'm available for keynotes. Here, since is explaining the reason. It's like because. Next. If you send an inquiry through my website, I'll respond as soon as I can. If forms a conditional clause, and then as soon as is a time clause. Here's the final sentence. After I deliver a talk, I'm eager for feedback so that I can learn and improve. After forms a time clause, and so that expresses purpose. How did you do? Remember to check out my full playlist on adjective clauses. And if you'd like a full lesson or even a new series on adverb clauses, let me know in the comments. That's all for now. If you'd like more interaction and feedback, then join the English with Jennifer community on Patreon, where we practice all skills for confident, effective communication. The link is in the video description. Thanks for watching and happy studies.